Before I start this video, I just want to let you know that we have some exclusive The Timeless Child merchandise available from this channel. You can now find amazing these ones are. These are Cyberlords.
Exclusive, not even sold by the BBC yet.
And the best thing about them, when you buy them, you can chuck them in the fucking bin. Hi folks, Carl James here from Electric Media Madness, and I'm joined again today by Dan Ryan.
Hello.
And we are talking about the finale of Doctor Who season 11, 12. That's what this has done to us. The Timeless Children? Child, I think. Yeah, see, I mean, this has just had such a profound effect on us that we just can't remember anything about it, so...
We are now done.
Yeah, this is it. This is the end, literally and figuratively. So what we're going to do, anyway, is we're going to we're actually, it's Monday today. Life circumstances got in the way, so we've had to delay recording this video. We watched it last night.
I'm glad we waited.
Yes.
I had a lot of time to think.
Yes, definitely. I have completely avoided any kind of online discussion about this episode because I didn't want it to inform my opinion. You have looked at some bits and bobs, haven't you?
I was searching very hard for good reviews.
Yeah.
And I found a lot of them.
Yeah.
But they were all excellent episode, best one. No reasons why at all. No one, because there is no reason why. They're all just like, we love Jodie by the Time Ladies. That was the only Twitter I could remember.
I know the Time Ladies.
Yeah.
But I will give a shout out for Nerdrotic, Gary's excellent channel. Check it out if you don't already. Most people will know of it. It was a great channel.
He did an excellent
stream. I've been watching Nerdrotic for several years now. That's the first time you've watched one of his videos. Yeah, and you were suitably impressed by their...
4 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah. I watched it all, and everything was covered. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. So it was great.
He does a good job of it. Bowles Trek and Story Eyed Girl as well. They have on there, and that they all, they really do go into every little corner of it. I don't know whether we're going to do the same kind of thing today, but we're going to do our best anyway to cover as much of the main points of it.
We haven't quite got 4 hours and 40 minutes to spare.
No. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through the plot. I've made a good few pages worth of notes. As we're going through it, I'm going to talk about things that I've noticed. You're going to jump in and talk about things you've noted as well, and then we'll probably digress a little bit here and there as we go along, and then we'll jump into the larger implications of this episode at the end. So this was a biggie. It was Cyberpalooza again, but in a very, very different way this time, as you saw from our intro. The Cyberlords. So we start pretty much where the previous episode left off, with the Master appearing through the portal. He takes the Doctor through to Gallifrey, and then this big sort of cyber carrier ship turns up above Slarty Bartfast's planet.
Led to by Graham and Yas. So they brought the entire cyber army to the one place where humanity has escaped to.
Yes.
Full of Cybermen chasing them. Yeah. That is very intelligent.
Yeah. One of the things I noticed straight off the bat, because there's so much man bashing in Doctor Who nowadays. I mean, it really is completely, the Master's rage. The Doctor pointed that out pretty much straight off the bat. Has it calmed all the rage? The Doctor said to her, So, I mean, we know the Master is kind of like that anyway, but this whole idea of this cliche of man rage. Then we get more of the attacking Graham. Although in this case, he actually did come up with an idea that seemed to work, but we can't really quite figure out how it worked. But
it shouldn't have worked. But
on the cyber ship, he says we'll take all the bits out, the dead bodies out of the Cybermen, and we'll hide in them so the Cybermen can't track us. And we initially said, anytime you've seen like a cyber part attached to a human in previous Doctor Who episodes, starts assimilating them, for want of a better way of putting it, upgrading them. But I think there was a line, wasn't there, where that female character whose name I can't remember her name.
Side character, female
yeah,
one.
Yeah. She said that she disabled the signal or something like that.
However, Yaz shortly, well, it was a while later, shoots from the arm of the cyber suit that she is in. So if it is disabled, and when she speaks, it comes through the helmet, not her normal voice as well.
Yeah.
So
plot.
Yeah.
Is there? I mean, maybe that's just the way that technology works. But if it's reading you, then it's to figure out what it needs to do. Then there's some intelligence to the suit, isn't there?
And another thing, they are removing corpses from the suit that are attached to the suit, are one with the suit, and then they take it off, and it's completely clean inside. Yeah. Did they polish it as well?
I do remember that from what was it, the season 5 two-parter at the end, where the head of the Cyberman is attacking Amy Pond.
Yeah.
The skull falls out and he's going clack clack clack.
Yeah.
But that was clean inside, wasn't it?
But that had been a long time.
And
it had degraded.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we saw in the Age of Steel, Rise of the Cybermen, Age of Steel, when they opened up the David Tennant opened up the chest thing, didn't it, and all that gunky stuff and all that. So where was all that?
So in the course of 5 minutes, they disabled the armor, removed the corpse, got some polish, and started cleaning the inside of the suit and some disinfectant, and got in there in time.
But you notice that there was a lot of that in this episode. Things that happen really, really quickly. In reality, they would never have that much amount of time to,
especially at
the end. Yeah, but we'll come to that in a bit. But yeah, you're absolutely right about that with the cyber armor. Yeah. So that's the plan. Anyway, we go back to Slarty Bartfast's planet, and he has some weapons for Ryan. One of these like throwing like a bomb thing, which harked back to that an episode that you haven't seen, a previous episode where he was trying to get the basketball into the hoop and he couldn't do it, but on this occasion but it all seems to be academic because he blows up a load of Cybermen, and then
that must be a light bomb, because he throws it with one hand.
Yeah.
It's like, surely you'd have to like
something else as well. Did they say that they were going to send? Was it 3?
It was
execution. Was it 3 execution squads or 3?
Was it
Cybermen? Because I thought it was 3 Cybermen.
I thought it was a legion per person.
Right.
Which, considering they escaped their supreme leader, surely that's not.
Cyber half face.
Surely you'd send more than just a legion per person. Especially when you've got a ship of thousands of people.
And how did they know exactly how many people were on that planet as well?
That is true, yeah.
Because
that's a point, yeah.
Would they have took account from when they were there previously, or because they don't? Did they know how many?
They didn't know how
presumably
many.
They didn't know how many of them were on the cyber carrier, so then subtracting them, they wouldn't have known exactly how many. So did the Master tell them when he communicated? Well, I'm jumping the gun there.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So we're in the ruins of Gallifrey, thanks to the Master.
Somehow. Not explained or told.
And a bit of the Master says to the. I'm jumping the gun here actually, because he communicates with the cyber half-faced man, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And says he's got this plan to like join up with them, or I mean, it's all a bit wishy-washy at that point.
Well, the whole episode he was, because half the time he wanted to kill himself, and the other half the time he's like, I'm going to rule the galaxy.
Yeah.
Make your mind.
Yeah. And he said, I will be the last thing, the last sacrifice, one of the last organic, because it's revealed that he's got this death particle in his chest that can wipe out all organic life.
This thing that no one should know about, but then suddenly there's a rumour about it.
Yeah, because that nameless woman character, she seemed to know about it, didn't she? And
how though?
Yeah.
Because he's not going to
It's
go
gotta
like,
be a secret.
look at this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Put with me.
And it is-
I'll kill you.
It's in my chest. I'm a toxic man. And I'm a half-faced man. Anyway. And then we have the master to the doctor. Don't heckle, dear. You know, I mean, I was waiting for Jodie to be like, but no, yeah. So the master summons the Cybermen to Gallifrey. We talked about the execution squad because he said he's the one that wants them to send an execution squad to Slarty's planet, and so they arrive, and Ryan and Slarty, and there was another lad. Again,
Side character. Whatever.
I can't remember their names. I mean, that is a mark of a good TV show, a good episode of television. If you a short way into it, you can remember all the names of the characters.
Yeah. I mean, it was only the next day, and we can't remember any of them.
Yeah, I mean, I just sidetracking slightly, but Star Trek Picard, I didn't become familiar with the main character names in the series, apart from maybe 2 or 3, outside of the ones that I already knew, like Picard and that.
That's good.
3 episodes in, I was still struggling to remember the names, and it was only by virtue of the fact that I'd been reviewing them and making my notes that by recording that I got familiar with the names of the characters. But if I was just a viewer, I mean, you should. Years back, I mean, Star Trek: The Next Generation, I knew all the names of the characters by the end of the pilot episode, and how times change, eh? But there you go. So that is another thing with Doctor Who, or sort of superfluous side characters. So he summons them to Gallifrey. Then back on the planet, they get their weapons ready, and we get one of the. I mean, there's many in this episode, but this one really stood out for me. Absolute female affirmation, cringeworthy. It went that fast that I missed bits of the dialogue, but what I managed to get at the time. Graham sitting on a step or sitting somewhere with Yaz. Oh my!
This is the worst scene I've ever seen.
I think you're such an impressive woman, he says to Yaz. Always fighting. And then he said something else, and then he says, I think you're never afraid and you're never beaten. And then he says, I sound like a proper old man, so that's a man bashing thing again, isn't it? Oh, the old man. And then he apologises to her for saying that. I mean, this ties into this whole culture of you can't say anything to a woman now. A man can't say anything to a woman now, because, in case you offend them, or the terminology used or the way because he says, "I'm sorry." This it's the apology tour. People have been talking about this with Picard. Again, it's the apologies part. Picard's apologising to the Romulans, and he's apologising to the Borg, and he's apologising to the Federation did this, and we let you down, and da 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 da. And Graham's doing it here. I'm sorry, I haven't offended you.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if that wasn't bad enough, the rebuttal from Yaz again on missing picture. You're not such a bad human. And Graham's like, is that it? Obviously it is, because he's a man, she's a woman, she's allowed to have those things said to her, but he's not. And then she says, I'm from Yorkshire, that's a love letter.
Is it? I don't really know anyone from Yorkshire, but is that? But the best bit, while I was searching online, people said that they cried to that.
You're joking.
A lot of people said that they cried. I mean, I might have been like.
I'd have been crying. If I had been crying, it would have been in pain.
Yeah.
Not.
But they said it was a beautiful, emotional moment.
I mean, Yaz as a character was practically redundant in. See again, I can't even remember what season's it. Season 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. She just seemed to be surplus to requirements. This year they've really gone out of their way to big her up. I talked about it in the Tesla episode, which I know you haven't seen that one, but a Nikola Tesla episode where you and me, we make Nikola Tesla look like the village idiot. This is Yaz and her.
Yeah.
Maybe the Doctor, you could get away with arguing that the Doctor is like uber clever, but Yaz, a
police officer
rookie
who doesn't work.
that doesn't work ever. I mean, how much policing she's,
See, they could have worked really well off her, because all the stuff on her could have been like odd cases that she had. And then she summoned the Doctor to work on those cases.
And for all the people out there that throw all the ists and phobes and da da da,
'Cause there will be a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not about. It's just my issue with Yaz is poor, badly thought out, badly written characterization.
Yeah.
It's not her. It's not her, the actress. It's not
No.
even really her acting because she's fine.
I mean, she's not given much,
not
but
wow, but she's
whatever she does, she's alright with. So
It's just that they've got this character. They're bigging up the female roles now on television programs at the BBC and across the board. But I mean, how can you look at this character and if they want, if all this is about giving representation on screen and giving people to aspire to, I just don't see it. It just doesn't.
no.
Apart from the fact that she's a policewoman.
But the worst
Well,
bit,
police
the
person.
second after Graham makes this horrific speech, that she's validated there, right?
Mhm. Oh,
as
yeah,
soon
yeah.
as she's validated, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, who's going to go through this portal?
Yeah.
Me.
But she doesn't need to be validated because she's a woman, obviously. But that's her reply. Oh, you're not such a bad human. Oh, and that's a love. That she doesn't need to be validated by anybody, especially a man.
Yeah.
These are supposed to be friends. These are supposed to be the companions that
Yeah.
they're. I mean, God, look at the things that Captain Jack would have done for Rose, and what Rose did for Donna, and in Turn Left. Is it Turn Left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are called the Fam, which makes me want to, chainsaw my own head off every time I hear it. But they're called the Fam, which is short for family. Family should be very close. They should all be very close. But they are
you would assume so.
the most distant between any companions.
And I'm going to get a bit conspiratorial here, and people who outside of these videos who know what I've done for the last 10 years know that I don't even like the term conspiratorial because I call it alternative research, but these agendas in the media, one of them is to dumb down, dismantle and trivialise the familial relations between people. So what better way to do that than take people who aren't biologically related? Because even though Graham is Ryan's granddad, only by marriage. He's not a biological grandfather, so none of them biologically connected to each other. No, they're not. No. I mean, Ryan's nan was his biological nan, but Graham was married after the fact.
Yeah.
And again, I will say this: I've got no issues with that. I've said this before. If you go over to look at some of my videos on the Truth Seekers Guide YouTube channel I've got, if you're into that sort of thing, I'm not trying to peddle people over there, but I've got several talks that I've done on Disney, and I've talked about Disney's attitude towards family units and that kind of thing, and I've always said it doesn't matter what represents a family unit as long as there's love and caring and compassion, and it doesn't, I'm a modern person in that respect, it doesn't matter. This idea, they said blood is thicker than water, but no, I mean you can be just as close to somebody who's not biologically connected to you, but this proves that they are dumbing that down because of the way they are with each other. They say, oh, we're together and we'll do anything, but they say that more about the Doctor than they do about each other.
They're also not often all together.
Mm.
They split up quite well in all the season 11 and what I've seen of the season. They split up like straight away, and they're just never together. There's no like union of them all.
I mean, that's something that did. I know Chibnall tried to model the Peter Davison era where there's several companions, and that you'd find that in quite a lot of those episodes where companions would end up elsewhere, away from other companions and stuff like that. So it's kind of a trend,
that
but
constantly though, because it is.
No, not constantly.
Because they weren't
here and there.
Only only time I can remember them being all together is at the end of that episode, really. And they get split up pretty quickly in the previous episode. Yeah, and they're just apart the whole time.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to say anything more about that. Really, I don't think we covered that bit of it. We mentioned about the Master. It is one of the good points of this episode. Sacha Dhawan is a good actor.
He's entertaining to watch.
Yeah, he's
So you can't call us racist, okay?
Yeah,
Can't call us
that's
racist.
right.
We
absolutely,
like
yeah.
him.
It's nothing. It's about how they portray their characters, their acting, the writing of the characters, that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the writing is especially fantastic for the character, but acting, and the effort he's putting into it, you can't fault him.
No, yeah.
He would actually have made a really good Doctor.
He would actually,
Yeah.
because he was more. It was kind of his episode.
Mhm.
She weren't in it that much, and I enjoyed when he was there,
Yeah,
which was actually
Yeah.
the only good thing for me about
Yeah,
the entire
yeah.
episode.
I did notice he was channeling a bit of John Sim
Yeah,
in it. There was a moment where I shut my eyes for a second and it almost sounded like John Sim.
yeah, it did.
But he was kind of doing lots of other things. Well, you talked about
Like a Joker,
like a Joker
sort
type
of
thing as
yeah.
well and stuff like that. I noticed little touches of Missy here and there as well. So yeah, I mean that's a sign of an actor who's studied.
Yeah, he
Doctor Who.
knows what he's
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, he's got to have watched some of it,
Mm.
you know, because certainly.
Only the rest of them would have.
Yeah, yeah. So the Master hacks the Matrix on Gallifrey.
Yeah.
And he says he's found everything. I mean, it's a bit hazy at this point. So he puts the Doctor in this paralysis field, and he sends the Doctor into the Matrix to tell her about everything that you know is a lie, kind of thing, and that. We'll come to that. Back on the cyber carrier, Graham's plan seems to be working because the half-faced Cyberman, whose name I can't remember. He doesn't seem to be able to detect them. They look like there might have been a moment when he's about to, but then he got sidetracked by
that is actually something, now you mention that I kind of liked, because you could see there was a bit of emotion in him still. Like there was still part human. Like he was ripping those doors open, like he slammed them shut. He was quite angry, and that's something. At least there's emotion here.
Yeah. So I didn't have any more notes for that little bit because he kind of jumped all over the place, didn't he? It was a little bit here, a little bit there. So we're back on Gallifrey again, and then we get this really long monologue from the Master. Once upon several lifetimes or whatever it was, there was an explorer, Tecteun. I'm the Master of the universe.
She is.
Yeah.
A god.
Yeah.
She invents everything.
Yeah. Well, just quickly read out what. So, and we'll get to that. Yeah, she was an explorer. She found an infinity gateway. She found a child below it. These are my notes here. I'm not reading out what was said in the episode because there was that much. She finds a child below it, a black girl, seemingly thrown through the infinity gateway. So Tecteun adopts this girl. And it turns out that Tecteun is from Gallifrey.
Yes.
And they return to Gallifrey. She adopts the girl, takes her back with her. She tries to find out what the child was, but didn't know. And then the child is playing with another child and
on the top of
on the top of a cliff. Yeah.
Mummy, can I go play?
Yeah.
Go to the top of that fucking
Into
cliff.
the wall.
Go
on the
play.
top of, yeah.
However, that was a boy she was playing with.
Yeah.
And that's what happens because
Yeah.
boys are stupid.
Yeah,
And silly.
and kill people. Yeah, but not kill people because that's the big reveal.
But
Yeah,
not,
so she's pushed off the she falls off the cliff. Hits the ground, and Tecteun. Did Tecteun go to her? Yeah, the body.
She did, yeah.
And the child regenerates. I'm going to say this now, but you'll understand why I'm saying this shortly. It's not a race issue. The black
definitely.
girl regenerates into looks like an Oriental girl. So the Master then says it's the first regeneration of anyone on planet Gallifrey.
Yes.
So we're jumping around to some of those stuff. So I think we're going to go further with that in a second. But did you want to say anything? What you want to say about Tecteun? Yeah.
Tecteun is
What a
genius.
name.
Yeah.
What a name.
It's a genius. She thinks of how they can travel in space.
Mhm.
She builds it.
Yeah.
She does it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
she finds this child. Of it knows, biological science as well. So
Yeah.
he starts examining this child, and there's more later. We'll get.
Yeah,
to that.
we're going to come to that. Yeah.
Who is? It'd be believable if they want to go girl power, right? A group of women. a group of women work on this.
Like the Sisterhood of Khan, you know, the ones with the potions and all that with it. Yeah, that's.
But it's not believable at all for one singular person to do everything.
To do all of that. Yeah.
It's just. But it wouldn't happen.
She's the bestest ever.
Yeah.
You know,
she is the bestest ever.
Yeah.
For now.
And it's almost like she's the founder of Time Lord Society, effectively, because she finds the first. Well, we can't even really say Gallifreyan because we don't know where this girl comes from. This finds her through this infinity gate.
The Eye of Sauron.
Yeah, the Eye of Sauron. I mean, I'm assuming Chibnall will. I don't know. I will explain what that's about, where she come from. So anyway, so we'll get back to it in a second. So the cyber cruiser arrives on Gallifrey. We go into Slarty Bartfar's planet again, and the cyber squad attack. Ryan does his throwing his bomb thing, and they blow up. Cyber Halfface arrives in the Master's chamber on Gallifrey. Talks about his death particle. We covered that. Capable of destroying all organic life. Halfface says all Cybermen will become fully mechanised, no organics.
What a fucking shit idea!
Yeah.
Why would you want that? It's like, you know what? Let's become like iPhones, okay? Let's become iPhones. Let's not have.
Because I was trying to think about this. I was trying to think for other examples in. I was thinking of like the replicants in Blade Runner, but they're kind of organically engineered. The Cylons did a similar thing, didn't they? Because they were organic but technological.
See, now
the Borg are technological, but the Borg are kind of loosely riffed on the Cybermen.
I guess Skynet. That's sort of. But do you see,
Terminators, but they've got human skin over them.
Do you want to know why you can't think of anything? Because it's really fucking stupid. It's really stupid.
Yeah. I'm sure there are, and I probably, if I thought about it long enough, I probably would have think, oh yeah, that's a good example of a fully robotic race that are. So the Master wants to facilitate their process to the dominant force in the galaxy. That is a bit wishy-washy at that point, but we kind of see where that goes eventually, don't we?
Oh yes.
As you saw from our introduction, with our exclusive merchandise.
Exclusive. You cannot get these anywhere else.
And they'll be back in the bin
immediately after. Trash. Actual trash.
Right. So we're in the Matrix. We're back to Tecteun there. Tecteun. She studies the child through several regenerations, boys and girls, and she finds the genetic key and tests it on herself, and then she regenerates from a white woman into a black man.
Yeah.
Which basically births the Time Lord race. They talk about regeneration being limited to 12 cycles. It was almost like that was a decision that was made as opposed to a biological thing. It was almost like they decided that they, for whatever reason, and said the foundling had become the founder. The Master said. So you had an observation about what Tecteun was doing there, didn't you? And it didn't occur to me at the time.
See now, this great, magnificent woman
who was supposed to be thinking great things about,
killed her daughter repeatedly.
Yeah.
Over and over again to force her to regenerate.
To see what it was all about. Yeah. I mean, people will argue, she wasn't. This girl wasn't really dying because she could regenerate, but she doesn't know that that's a permanent thing.
Yeah, that could
all of a sudden just be the last one and she killed her.
Yeah.
Before she's found out what and got the key to it all.
Mother of the year. Go play on the cliff.
Yeah, go play on the cliff.
And then kill you.
And then I want to kill you as many to see whether. Well, I don't even know what it was she was trying to prove. Really, I mean, she was trying to see the process,
trying to study it. Yeah.
Study it, but it's a bit like.
I mean, she's not got a camera.
It's a bit like cutting off your hand to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible woman.
Yeah.
That just defeated the object of what they were going for.
All this message about positive female affirmation.
The message was there, and then she started killing her daughter. It's like, okay, she's a bad person.
I've said this before. I don't know what I said it about, whether it was Star Trek or Doctor Who or what, but I said in one of my videos, these writers, they need to make up their bloody mind what messages they're trying to put across.
Yeah, they can't do every message.
It
like
can't be, you know, 1 minute all the women are psychopaths, the next minute the women are, you know, revere the female roles. It doesn't, you know. Yeah. So then ultimately we find out that this timeless child is the Doctor.
Yeah.
But we kind of knew that anyway, in a way, because it was kind of hinted at, and well, outside of the show, I mean, you talked about Gary from Nerdrotic, and there's been other people talking about it as well. I think it was Noel from the TARDIS Zone channel, official TARDIS Zone channel. But there's been some rumours floating around for quite some time that they were going to really mess. The producers of the show, the writers, they were going to really mess with the canon of the canonical history of the Doctor. It was going to really seriously change. We didn't know exactly what they were going to do, but I mean, we kind of already knew this was happening anyway, because we saw Dr. Ruth, didn't we, back in the...
well, I hadn't heard these rumours, so I just thought, okay, it'll just be a Cyberman story next episode, which the last video I was talking about, like, oh yeah, Brendan will be the cyber half-face thing, and...
But it turned out that Brendan was the Doctor.
Yes.
Yeah. That's something that I can't remember whereabouts in the episode that comes, but we'll touch on that. Yeah. So Ryan and Slightly Bartfast are hiding from the Cybermen. Ryan becomes gunman, gun-toting psychopath. Killing all that.
So boring. All that action stuff. Like I kept checking. I was like, "Is it over yet?"
You got no pizza to measure it. Time wise.
I ate the pizza before I came to yours. I should have cooked it.
Yeah. So then we get another one of those cringe moments. I mean, there were many.
The whole episode, really.
Yeah. They're rescued by Yaz, Graham, and the two other characters, disguised as Cybermen, because they turn up and gun down the other Cybermen conveniently at that moment when they're about to die. I mean, this is cliche in television programs anyway. That happens, doesn't it? Right at the moment where Graham again is the village idiot, the buffoon, because
can't get the
helmet off. You know,
I'm not surprised he can't get that helmet off, because cyber suits must be very heavy, right? and everything's disabled.
Yeah.
So how are they? And after
they must be shit heavy, them suits. Yeah.
After the half-faced Cyberman walks away in the ship, Yaz is like, to be able to do that movement so quickly and swiftly.
I mean, there's nothing to her.
She must be very strong. Yeah.
Well, yeah, she's a woman, so she's
How can they? They shouldn't be able to move in that at all.
No.
They shouldn't have been able to put it on.
I mean, I'm assuming that when they're connected up to the everything and that gives them the strength, extra strength, and.
But it was said that it was disabled. So
they said it was disabled. So
make your mind up.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of that scene in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure when they've got the night suits on and they're like clanking around all over the place trying to fight each other with their swords and that. Yeah.
See, that's what it should have been like.
That's a good time travelling telephone box.
Yes.
I'm very much looking forward to that one when that comes along, number 3.
That is going to be good. Hopefully, please.
I haven't got the Bill and Ted T-shirt on today. I should have put that on. So then we back with the Master. And he starts looking really horny, doesn't he? About
he looked extremely
talking about
aroused.
Siberium and all that, and then he shrinks, half man.
And then this is the scene. He's like,
yeah, because we've got him here, haven't we?
Hey,
exclusively available on this channel.
But look, his face, he was just like, hello.
Yeah, he was really into him, wasn't he?
Would you like to come to my house tonight?
But I mean, we're getting even better moment in that with the little miniaturized toy half-faced Cyberman in a minute. But we'll come to that. So because he shrinks him, and this never really explained why this happens. Because he shrinks him, the Siberian gloopy silver thing that was established in the Shelley episode, in the haunting of Villa d'Illuminati or whatever it was called, comes out of him and goes into the Master eventually.
And then he gets up and then he looks very around. It was like they were trying to copy when in the Avengers when Thanos gets all the
yeah,
Infinity
yeah.
Stones like that.
Yeah.
It's like because it didn't like go through his veins and everything like to all the others. It was just the Master.
Yeah, just him where that happened.
I guess
I
it's
think.
because
I don't know. Yeah.
Time Lord,
Time
and he's
Lord.
special.
I don't know.
But not really
But not
special.
because he's a man, so he's not
Yeah.
that special. So
No, not at all.
yeah. So back in the Matrix, excuse me, we've got it's all lies. None of this is the truth. I know my life. I know who I am. The Doctor. That's affirmation again. That's I know who I am. Why would they lie? Why would they do that? Who they? The Time Lords. I don't know. All I am. All I am is somehow because of you, the Master says.
Yeah.
So that's reaffirming Dr.
Yeah.
Jodie again, isn't it? Doctor again, I have a right to know my own life. I mean, this goes on and on and on, this does. I mean, it doesn't really... then we get this really bizarre bit of plotting MacGuffin stuff. There's a non-interference policy with the Time Lords, but there's this group called the Division. They're not bound by the non-interference rules. A secret cabal of Time Lord operatives, and it seems as though the Doctor was one of them.
Yeah.
Which presumably explains why they kept wiping her memory of bits of her life. Because then we see the bits of the images from the previous episode with Brendan.
Yeah.
After he retires as a policeman. I still don't think it's explained why his dad looked the same age when he... presumably that they were Time Lords.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Someone online was saying that was...
Well,
that
it
was
wasn't
like
his
the,
dad.
That was like the filter kind of thing.
Right, so it's like a perception filter thing, and it was...
So that's like the hint for her to see her memories again. So so the stuff she can't remember is shown as Brendan in Ireland.
Yeah, because there was a clock, wasn't there, as well?
Yeah.
Like a retirement clock that they gave him. I can't remember what it said on the back of it, but it said something which kind of gave it away.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be either, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for service to the Timeless Division, or something like that.
Yeah.
We're sorry you won't remember when they're electrocuting him and doing all that, which I thought was the Cyberman thing.
Yeah,
but
I did as well.
But I did actually think at one point in the episode when because that was the same thing, fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
That was the same thing as the. So we're assuming that this is not really a reality as such.
No,
it's more like wiping his memory.
That would
her
seem like the perception filter sort of thing, because all the events did line up.
Yeah, they did.
So I guess
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. So we learn at that point, but that whole thing from the previous episode was a bit redundant, really. You didn't really need to have that because you could have told them
it was probably about half the episode last episode, and the payoff was it just seemed like it was
just an afterthought, something that they thought would look cool and create a mystery, but
I mean it did create a mystery, but when you got the
When it
answer
is
you were
much
just
as it-
like
yeah,
well,
well,
that was
is that
a bit
it?
irrelevant.
Yeah. So the Time Lord Organics. I'm not even understanding my notes here. Time Lord Organics who can regenerate, but into cyber armor, because the Master has created a load of Time Lord Cybermen using Time Lord bodies. He didn't kill them all.
No,
that was a point.
They can now convert the dead. See.
Yeah.
So.
But that wasn't that the same as Death in Heaven and the Capaldi's two-party and Missy. They convert the dead.
But see, the Master must be really smart because he managed to kill everyone on Gallifrey alone.
That's never really explained what he was doing, how he did that.
But he did that in a way which made no one regenerate at all.
Yeah.
So they had all 12 regenerations. Well, I'm assuming, they've got a lot of them still.
Yeah.
And then convert them into Cybermen.
Yeah.
So how on earth do you kill an entire city without using any regenerations at all? Or escaping on the many TARDISes that are there, as you find out later.
That is...
There's at least 2 there. You see,
TARDIS a day keeps the Doctor away.
But you see at least 2 TARDISes, which that model was decommissioned as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
clapped out. Clara said.
Yeah.
It's a bit clapped out above it. She said that particular one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But that
yeah,
model,
yeah.
I forget the model name, but has been decommissioned.
Yeah, yeah.
So, why the Doctor took the last one before they were all decommissioned?
Mhm.
So why are they suddenly there?
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, so there's at least 2 TARDISes there,
Yeah.
and no one thought. You know,
Remind me to get onto this subject of the TARDIS looking like a police box as well,
Yeah.
because that's an important point that we need to talk about.
But they go, you know, guys, we might die here, so should we leave, or did that not occur to them at all? They just, you know what?
It's just completely nonsensical. And these Cyberlords, they even have big Time Lord collar.
As you may see here.
From our exclusive merchandise available from this channel to throw in the bin. And they're all, and it's all covered in like Gallifreyan writing and all that kind of thing. So, and then that is the point where I was in hysterics, weren't I? I could not stop laughing. I just thought this is just so fucking ridiculous. I've seen everything now. I mean, I can think of moments like in the Daleks in Manhattan or whatever. I can't remember that. You know, when they humanised the. I mean, that was pushing it a bit. There's other cringe things in this, like the Paradigm Daleks and the Daleks as the World War II allies and all that kind of thing.
But they kind of saw
But
that wasn't a good idea and left.
Yeah, nothing I can ever think of in the series that reached this level of absolute. I mean, I really do think. I've said in other videos this season that there's been several occasions where I thought Chris Chibnall has got himself a crack pipe and he's sitting there puffing away on it when he's writing. I think he was just on anything for this one, because where that one comes from, you know, you got to be off your face to come up with that one.
Maybe he's wrote some fanfics before, and he's like, maybe I'll slide something in. You know,
it's sort of, it is. It feels like something that would
this
be
whole episode does.
The whole thing does actually, especially that. But it does feel like something that you would see in a fan film. Yeah, yeah. So we're back on with Slargy Bartfast and the fam and the other people that. Did they go with them? Because ultimately they go to Gallifrey, don't they?
Yeah, they all go.
Yeah, they all go to the portal to Gallifrey. So in the Matrix, the Doctor sees the image of Dr. Ruth.
Which just shows that Dr. Ruth is better than Jodie.
Yeah, and once again the actress proved that does a damn sight better job of portraying the Doctor than. Because I really do think she's a good actress, you know. And
I wish she was the Doctor.
I do.
I
mean, we've given 2 examples of people already in this episode, haven't we?
Yeah.
You know.
Basically anyone else, really.
Yeah. Yeah. She says to the Doctor, "Have you ever been limited by who you were before?" And I found that line really insulting. Because it's almost like implying that there were limitations to being the Doctors that we've seen for 50 plus years on television. I mean, she did say no, that she hasn't been, but it was kind of it was the way that the line was kind of implied that.
Yeah.
Then Ruth says, "People need the Doctor." And I definitely think that's a jib at the fans who were saying, you know, to
be honest, her entire speech, everything that she said was just a shot at the fans.
Yeah. It was about saying, this is here, it's not going anywhere, off if you don't like it.
Yeah.
And then he says, all this history, all these lies. The history of Doctor Who is not lies, but it is now.
It is, yeah.
And then we get, oh my god,
the most beautiful moving scene.
The montage, complete with the theme tune to Doctor Who.
And she's just sat there like, she is heavily constipated, and she needs to pass it, and she's just like, come on! And then it starts playing the theme song.
I will get those other lives out of me.
And then it's like some really
she needs some X-Lax. Time Lord X-Lax.
She.
Sorry.
But
one of the things I did notice was that they did include the images from the Brain of Morbius Tom Baker story that which has been talked about for years in the canon of the show. Were they doctors before William Hartnell? Well, apparently they were. Now that's canon. You know,
the music starts playing, the theme song starts playing, and then all these images pop up in the background around, and it looks like some. Just watch it on YouTube right now, and just picture some shitty 15-year-old video, like montage made by some 12-year-old in Windows Movie.
Who's sitting there tugging away
on Windows Movie Maker. No talent. I could make something better than that, right? It was shit. It was so shit. It was. An editor was paid to make that. An editor sat there
for the BBC. On one of their allegedly flagship shows that's
sat
sold around the world
and made that scene, and then it went out for the public to see.
I mean, it's a farce, but it's. I'm speechless. I really am. I mean, it's not the only moment in the episode where I thought that, but and I thought, well, I mean, at least they're showing David Tennant and Matt Smith and da 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 da. I mean, that is almost like saying, oh yeah, you know, we're still, we're with you, you old fans, you know, they haven't gone away, they're still like that.
Did they think the music would appeal to the fans?
I mean, I can't even figure out what kind of variation of the theme tune. It's certainly not anything that's ever been used as a theme tune for the show.
I think it was.
It's the arrangement, it's the music, but
I think it was meant to be more like the older theme tune, but a bit different, maybe.
Well, like shit.
Yeah, like that, yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Dearie me. So anyway, the Doctor breaks out of the Matrix and she's greeted by the fam.
How did they find? You know, no, I have an answer to this question. I see this huge city. They found her. They heard the music. They must have.
That must be what it is. They heard, that's her theme tune. So
yeah, they must have heard it.
They thought, well, we'll just keep following that, and eventually we'll find her. So yeah, never been there before, like, but we'll we'll figure it out. Follow the music, we'll figure it out. I'm clever. She's clever. We're all clever. The Doctor's lying there. I'm thinking, get a room, really. Something occurred to me as well, that there's very much this theme of the Masters, the Cyberlords. I don't know what they refer to, but I'll call them the Cyberlords.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's a patriarchy thing, and I've talked about how you're destroying the past canon to the Jedi in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker. They're doing it now with Picard, with the Federation and Starfleet. Starfleet bad, Federation bad, all this kind of thing,
Women
shit
good,
on
though.
it. Yeah. Well, yeah. Although almost all the ranking officers that they've seen in Starfleet in Picard so far have been women.
Oh,
I think it was one man, but all the rest have been women. So
I bet he was the worst.
Again, make up your bloody mind.
Yeah.
So you can't do it both ways. But I really did think of this idea that the all-powerful race that were more powerful pretty much than anybody else, destroyed, the patriarchy brought down.
Yeah.
She's a woman, obviously, and she it's one of those things that I looked at it and I thought, this is subtle, but it's not really that subtle. It's
that's the whole episode.
Yeah, it's like them trying to be clever, trying to be profound.
When I give my opinion on things, I really try and actually focus on the show, not because you like to mention the messages and political.
I think it's important to say not so much the political, but it's like there are agendas behind these things.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
And people say to me, well, why, if you hate this stuff, why do you watch it? Because I think it's really important that people recognise that this thing is going on in TV programmes, because you're breaking the spell that it has then on people. If you can recognise it, you creating a new type of relationship that you have with the media then, because it doesn't have that hold on you anymore. You don't revere it and hold it up to that level of it's wonderful, it's this, it's that. No, there's something seriously wrong with it. Yes, sometimes it's great, it's entertainment and all that entertainment, but there's much more going on. I'm paraphrasing him here, but there's an excellent book. I have it here somewhere. Yeah, Neil Postman, Amusing Ourselves to Death. It was written, I think, first back in the 70s, and I'm paraphrasing him here, but he basically said to think that television does not come equipped with an agenda is naive at best. You know, because it's not just entertainment and that's it. So but I think it's important to say that. But so carry on.
So I try and just look at the acting, right, everything like that, but try and not to focus on the agendas behind it. But this is the worst of it.
It's blatant.
This is the worst.
Even if you're not interested in it or you're not recognising it, it is really there, right in your face.
It's so much of the episode that you can't ignore it.
Yeah.
Like, you have to. It's like it's actually worse than Captain Marvel, which is just an agenda movie. And it's actually worse than that, which is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, if you strip it down to its bare bones, there's very little story here. There's very little story. The Master and the Doctor go to Gallifrey. The Master upgrades the Cybermen to the Cyberlords. The Fam follow.
Yeah.
And then the finale, which we'll talk about in a minute, when they bombs and things.
Because
that really is all there is to it.
Yeah.
You're talking 5 minutes worth of story.
And every story event that happens is based around these agenda things. In this episode, there's nothing. It's all just shit.
And when there is plot there's so many holes in it
that it.
You could pick it apart for. Well, I mean, Nerdrotic did. The gang there for 4 hours. They're big enough to fly a cyber carrier through it. They really are. Yeah. Anything else you wanted to say about that before we move on?
Just write stories. Don't write propaganda.
Yeah, stories should always serve.
Or if you want propaganda, write your story, have it finished, and then sprinkle a bit in. Don't have all your propaganda and then sprinkle a bit of story in.
I hold up a good example throughout the years, like the Twilight Zone, the original Twilight Zone series from the 50s, late 50s and that, which I love. Shows like The Prisoner, Star Trek, obviously, even things like Quantum Leap. I know it was cheesy, but these are shows that they very regularly had. There were morality tales. They had messages. Talked about identity politics. They talk about race, culture, all that kind of thing. But it came out of a story. You would have it was story first with good characterization, well thought out. And you would have it would. Gene Roddenberry used to say little morality tales. You'd tell your little story, and you'd make people think it. You wouldn't bash people over the head with it. Well, this is what this is, and that you like it and lump it, and if you don't like it, well, that's your tough. It would just stay. And oftentimes it would tell you both sides of the argument as well. But some people see it like this.
That's all the BBC do. They just smash you over the head with a hammer. And if you don't agree, you are racist, homophobic, everything.
Everyist and
phobic. And Nazi as well. Can't forget that.
Extremist. That is very much the agenda, because it makes it that much easier to. It comes from a place of, if you question things that aren't right, if you question agendas in organisations and government and things like that, corruption and social injustice as well. Fundamentally, I would consider myself to be the old definition of a social justice warrior. Not an old warrior, because I hate that militaristic terminology, but somebody who believed very much in social justice. Holding people account, pointing these things out when they're going on. And holding them up for scrutiny. But the definition of that today is not social justice. It's jingoistic. It's tokenistic. It's a fad. It's about cancel culture. It's about blame. It's about victimization. It's about trauma. It's nothing to do with holding these things up for scrutiny and saying, hang on, there's something not right here. And they don't want people having the cognitive skill to question when something's wrong. So it's that much easier now to just label them to label people as an extremist or in their thinking or whatever. So the Doctor finds out about Half-Face's death particle. and she's got to use it to destroy the Cyberlords. They go onto the cyber carrier, and they
Instantly.
We don't even know how they were the teleporter. I mean, they get there in 10 seconds flat. They literally get there in 10 seconds flat.
It is the next scene they're there.
Yeah, they're on it. They're planting the bombs, and then as quick as they're in there,
they're out.
I wrote that down. How did they get up, and how did they get in there so quickly? Out of all of that space on the gigantic cyber carrier, she finds the tiny half-man Cyberman on the floor. They put a line in there, "Oh, I left it there for you to find," but all that massive ship and tiny little thing there on the floor, she finds it straight away, and then again, Slightly Bartfast accidentally arms one of the bombs. Again, bad plotting.
And they teleport off the
hasty
ship.
escape. Yeah, they're gone as quick as they're on board. They're off again.
That whole scene is like 3 minutes long. Just on the ship.
I don't even know if it was that long, but it was
it's probably less than that.
The ship blows up.
Yeah.
And then they're back on Gallifrey again. They get into and again, this is where it got really, really confusing, because a TARDIS a day keeps the Doctor away.
Yeah.
They get off into what looks like a TARDIS. Nothing is really explained about how they do that now so quickly. The Doctor says she's going to detonate the death particle and she will die. She gives this another. You think these moments are going to finally show her as being the Doctor, but it's like somebody who's running and then they just trip up just as they reach the finish line. She says, "Live great lives, live free," to the family. That she's going to sacrifice her life so they can live. I did question about, because she sends them off in the TARDIS. How do they even know how to operate a TARDIS? But then there's a line that she sets it on an autopilot thing, so but she wants to do it for them. I wanted to blow up.
I wanted enjoy that scene.
I want very much as the viewer. I wanted her to blow herself up, so we wouldn't have to. I'm not advocating violence to. I'm talking about the fictional character here.
Yeah, of course,
not the actress. No. Because in my head canon, the Doctor died when Capaldi regenerated anyway. But at this watching
in the episode,
this
you despise Chris Chibnall so much. You despise Jodie.
Do it. Go on, do it. Yeah.
Just because.
Do it. Let her blow it up.
It's not even her fault, really. She was just the Doctor who was forced to destroy all the others, basically.
Yeah, she certainly advocated it.
Yeah.
She's been a willing participant to this.
But she's
badmouthed the fans.
Yeah.
She's, so I'm not going to let her off the hook.
No.
But principally, it is Chibnall and people in the BBC, and I
don't know if she. To be honest, I don't think she knows the show enough.
I don't think
of doing that.
No. She wouldn't recognise. Ultimately, she might do now, but she certainly wouldn't have recognised what the implications of that would be.
So
she would see it more about the BBC's strategy. And how you are, their agenda.
But you hate Chris Chibnall, you hate the BBC, you hate her just because she's the Doctor who's doing this at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was a man, it'd still be shit. No matter the gender, race, whatever, whoever was in her place in this episode with this storyline would be ruining the show completely. So you want the Cyber Time Lords to shoot her. You're rooting for
the character.
Yes, you're rooting for the villains in this.
But case in point there, because you have the Master and his Cyberlords face to face with the Doctor.
Yeah,
you've got that paradigm, and the Master says, "I've broken you."
What? You haven't broken me. You made me stronger.
You've broken me. You've given me a gift. Of myself, it makes me more. I'm so much more than you. She
Yikes.
says. What the fucking hell?
I'd forgotten about that line, and
look how low I've brought you. The Master says, "Become death, become me." That's a running theme through the show about the Master wanting had the Doctor to be more like
the thing
him
is,
anyway.
He'd got his ultimate being army, so he'd achieved one of his goals. So he could be now the ultimate force in the universe.
Because he tried to do it before anyway.
Yeah.
But then he wanted to do it with, it was Missy then, she.
Yeah.
But she's this is my gift to you, to Capaldi, and it was done so much better in that 2-part story, wasn't it?
But then,
and they weren't even Cyberlords; they
Yeah.
were just Cybermen.
after achieving, basically, his goal is in reach, he's like, "Come on and kill me."
Yeah, yeah.
It's just so.
Is it because he thinks, well, I can regenerate, but then that death particle thing
Just
says it annihilates organic material
in the
And-
universe.
In the universe, that's
Yeah.
another. And we said, because it doesn't detonate the universe, does it?
Just the one
Just
planet.
that. Well, what we see on screen.
Yeah.
I mean, we assumed that it was maybe because it shrunk the death particles, so it's not as effective. But it's not even explained. That isn't in the dialogue. But I mean, if that is the case, that is shit.
That is very
really shit. As a, you know. And then Slarty Barnfast comes in and he saves the day. Apparently he was with the Time Lord Resistance. You know, he sacrifices his life for the Doctor.
Can we
Yeah.
can we go back here? Because this is my big thing.
Oh, yeah,
saving
yeah.
up here.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
I want to go.
I know you do. Yeah. Go for it.
Christopher Eccleston is stood there in his final episode, in front of the Dalek, with the explosives there, ready to detonate, and the line said to him is, "Are you a killer or a coward?"
Yeah.
And he replies, "Coward."
Every day.
And then we jump forward to the 3rd season.
Yeah.
When the Master dies, the Doctor is in tears.
Yeah.
The Doctor is he's like screaming, "Regenerate, come on!"
Yeah.
And then we move forward again when he's.
And he won't do it for
He
me,
won't,
will he?
no.
It's just, yeah.
We go forward again. David Tennant's last episode. He's holding the gun. And he refuses to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And then
Back.
Wilfred is in the thing, and he could just let Wilfred die there.
Yeah.
But
you had to go and do it, didn't
Yeah.
you? You had to go and get.
He sacrifices his life for one old man.
Yeah.
But she has no fucking problem letting like her best friend, really. It's established that the Master is the Doctor's best friend, really. Your best friend die, and some old man who you had previously sacrificed yourself to save an old man. It's so.
I mean, there is a counter argument to this. I know there are going to be people out there who'll say the Davros in Journey's End, the Stolen Earth Journey, said, "This is what you do. You create weapons. You use people. Blah blah blah." And to some degree, that is true of the Doctor. But she actually said, was it in the previous episode she actually said, "I'm not going to let you go through what other companions are." I'm paraphrasing it, didn't you? Yeah. Too many times this has happened. It was in the Villa of Dear. Yeah.
But then my next point.
So
was
if
gonna
that's
be,
the case, she should have done it.
my next point would be jumping to that episode, right? She refuses to let him die to prevent the universe getting killed. She says no. She's basically like, every life matters or whatever.
Yeah.
So she lets this person live, and
Percy Shelley.
yeah,
Yeah.
she lets this person live and sacrifices the universe basically to her knowledge.
Yeah.
But then 2 episodes later, she is fucking die, go for it, die, go.
Yeah. It's so inconsistent, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It is, again, make up your mind what you want to say with this,
Yeah.
And people would say, "Oh well, she, the process of what she's been through in these episodes, it's been a revelation for her because now she knows who she is."
The Doctor, the character of the
She
Doctor,
know who she is.
finds another way.
Yeah.
Save everyone,
Yeah.
and that was just so out of character.
Yeah.
She's just like, right, see ya.
Yeah.
And then flies away in her tree.
Yeah. A tree. Now make like a tree and leave.
Why is the TARDIS a tree? In a quarry. In a quarry.
And the
she lands.
How does she get in and out of the tree, TARDIS tree?
Just runs very fast.
Does she peel back the bark and?
I guess.
Anyway, I've seen it before. There was a column with the Masters. Yeah.
She leaves a time machine that looks like a tree in a quarry. that shit is going to get cut down straight
Yeah.
away.
And what I mean, God knows what would end up happening then when if somebody did.
That will get discovered immediately, and then some random like worker. Well, it doesn't matter actually.
But
'cause
it
the
depends
human
on
race.
where this tree is. You know, what I mean, it could be put on a planet where.
Well, it was next to her other TARDIS, weren't it?
So it was on the Slarty Bot. No,
No,
it was
at the start.
the beginning
Yeah.
of the essentially the Cybermen, the last place where the humans were. Yeah,
And then
I mean, you could argue, well, there's no humans left, so there's no one to chop it down. So
they don't even address that. They're
No,
just
no,
like,
no,
all
no,
the
no,
humans
no.
are dead in the future.
right,
So they send the fam. I hate saying that. They send the fam back to their present time in a house TARDIS.
a TARDIS looks like a house.
Yeah.
Now, if you've got a house there, I mean, what happens if the postman comes and sticks something through the door? You know, or a burglar breaks in. I mean, he's going to think he's on acid.
So we have a lumberjack with a time machine.
Yeah.
And a postman
or a burglar.
or a burglar with a time.
Yeah.
Good job. But they
Yeah.
they send them all back to go live their lives, thinking the Doctor's dead or whatever, and then the Doctor is like, oh well, that's it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's over. And then like,
But then
everyone's dead still.
Yeah, and that's the thing of it is that I mean that's left so open ended because they're in that street on that housing set or whatever with a TARDIS
And then they just
Right.
walk out and leave it.
and leave it there, and I mean what happens at that point? Because as I'm just checking to see if there's anything we left before we get to the very last bit.
Yeah, the last bit.
She leaves a tree on a planet, conveniently finds the original. Conveniently, it's parked right there.
Yeah.
I mean, she must have known where it
Yeah.
was, so that's the risk. And then gets in that. I mean, it's like, oh, I'll have this car now. I'm going to just leave this car here, and I'm going to go and get in this car.
Except
and
this
drive.
car
Yeah.
travels through time.
Yeah. It is a bit like that, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's a bit like, oh, I'll just leave this here.
It's like Back to the Future. They just leave the
She
DeLorean in the middle of the road.
Dawn was put, opened the doors of the TARDIS and took the tree inside the TARDIS. And then stored it in a room.
I guess it'd
Inside the TARDIS.
be too heavy to move.
'Cause
But no, they've moved the TARDISes before.
a TARDIS inside a TARDIS.
Yeah, they could do that. Yeah.
And then she could have gone and put the TARDIS in the house, and had that So yeah, I mean it beggars belief. It really does. So at the end of the episode, presumably setting up for whatever, whether it's going to be Christmas or New Year's special, and they're saying it's Christmas this one, something of the Daleks or whatever.
Resolution of the
Yeah.
Daleks.
But wasn't that
Daleks
no?
win.
Because the last one was called Resolution, wasn't it? On New Year's Day, the one before. So
It's a similar
Yeah,
name.
It's a similar name. But so the Jadoon, and they say cold case, cold, and all that kind of thing. In the TARDIS,
This impenetrable
yeah,
ship.
beam
They
just
just teleport
teleport
in.
inside the TARDIS, you know, for high crimes and and all this kind of thing, and then they just beam her away into this prison cell on an asteroid in space. So the fam are left with the house TARDIS on the house,
Thinking that she's
thinking
dead.
that she's dead,
And she's in jail.
and she's in jail.
Just end it. You know,
And
just leave her in jail.
I mean, do you know what the problem is with it? I think we've just overthought it too much. But that's more than the writers did.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's more than the writers
See,
did.
now, something that you need to do. There's one thing you need to do if you're going to write something that already has existing lore. Fucking familiarise yourself with it. Know what you're working with.
Yeah.
Because this whole episode proves that he doesn't know.
No, and
anything
they
at all.
don't. They don't. I mean, it's the same thing with Alex Kurtzman with Star Trek.
See,
They
Chris
don't.
Chibnall claims to be a fan as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
A fan that doesn't care about existing lore, apparently.
So, is there anything else you want to say? I mean, there is the big elephant in the room of the issue
Yeah.
of what this means. But I mean, is there anything else you wanted to discuss before we get to that?
I have a question for you.
Mhm.
This next episode, Revolution of the Daleks or whatever, are you going to watch it? Or are you done now?
I don't know. I mean, I watch. There has been an element of humour watching these episodes.
Yeah.
Unintentional. It certainly wasn't written to be. The bits that I found funny weren't written to be funny anyway. So
But
there
just-
is that,
yeah.
and I do tend to watch these things sometimes, even though I hate them. To point out
I just wonder, after the implications that we're going to talk about soon, after that's happened,
in that regard, maybe, because I think it's really, really important that we document for posterity, for the future, all these things, so that people can be aware of what happened, how it happened, and hopefully learn from their mistakes, so that when all this shit is over, people will not make the same mistakes again. But we're not at that point yet. It's still going on. It's still getting worse.
We'll continue to.
So I don't know if I can answer that question. I probably will.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been, as these last couple of episodes have gone on, I've been finding myself, and funnily enough, I've been going through a very similar process with Star Trek Picard, because they've been killing off, like, they killed off Icheb from Voyager, they killed off Bruce Maddox, who's in one of the best episodes of Next Generation. They've totally deconstructed Seven of Nine, and Picard's just piss poor excuse for Picard apologising about everything and all that. So I can see something on the horizon in the same way with Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So do you want to know what basically has happened here, or do you want me to?
They killed my childhood show here. They killed my. What is this year? Well, okay, no, a few years back they killed Star Wars. You know, that's my childhood movies. I grew up watching those, and then they killed Doctor Who.
Yeah.
The one that I grew up watching as well. Why would they do this? Why can't anyone write? No one can write.
And I don't know. I can never put, because people have asked me which is the worst, which has been affected the worst in the changes. Right. That's an interesting question. Which one do you look at the worst? You're not quite the Star Trek. I mean, you do like a lot of Star Trek, but you're not quite the Star Trek.
Yeah, I like all the movies. Yeah. I like the Next Generation. I haven't gone. Well, you know, I watched Discovery. Yeah. But I haven't gone into much else of it.
As a child, I was very much Star Wars, Star Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched Doctor Who and I liked it, but I didn't feel the same way about Doctor Who as I did it, right? But funnily enough, the one that I feel the saddest about now is Doctor Who.
They butchered it so hard.
Because I think, of all the things that have happened in science fiction over the last 20, 30 years maybe or so, what Russell T Davies did to Doctor Who when he came back in 2005 was an absolute triumph.
Yeah.
In terms of television. It was one of the few occasions where science fiction was really taken into the mainstream, but remained, well, I'd say science fiction, but it's more science fiction-y fantasy kind of thing, but you know, you get the idea. But still stayed true to what it was. I know a lot of the old school fans will say, no, not at all was it, but I love those years of Doctor Who. I can quite happily sit and watch RTD era Doctor Who any day of the week.
I could as well.
Quite happily. I've watched them countless times, and I'll probably watch them countless times again in the future.
I wonder if it will be harder now after this episode. I think it will.
Because they've never really messed before. I know they did it a little bit in the 50th but that never really changed anything.
No.
People would say that they haven't really messed with anything, but that's a case of yet. It's not a case of at all. At the moment they have. Yeah. We know that David Tennant and Matt Smith's versions of the Doctors and all the rest of them are still around, because we saw that in this episode. So that's canon now. We know that they're not gone, but we only saw the images of them.
Yeah.
We assume that everything we've seen of the television era of the Doctor's canonical lifetime, that stayed the same. So I don't think that some people really thought that was going to change as well, that some of these old Doctors were going to get wiped out. But there is one thing in amongst all of this that is key, that is a big change, is that this, you know, I don't even say a belief or assumption or anything, we're just knowing that William Hartnell was the very, very first Doctor.
That is his legacy.
That is like, well, amongst other things. I mean, he was a great character as well, and you know.
But he was the first of the most popular TV show that. This is our pride and joy of television, and he isn't the first anymore.
No.
So yeah.
And you and I have both pondered in the last 24 hours about what that the implications of that might be. Certainly, how we feel about it. I mean, at one point, for about half an hour or so, an hour, I was really, really angry about it.
I was.
Then I
for a
kind of
while.
thought to myself, you know what? I can take all of this from the moment of Capaldi's death,
Yeah.
because that's how I see it in my head canon, and treat everything else that's gone since as some sort of weird, bastardised, alternate reality, Mandela effect, Doctor Who type thing, and I can look at that there as I have to do that. The same with Star Trek. I have to do that because I can't let it, because I don't want it spoiling those watching those. I don't.
No.
You know. I mean, they've already tried it in Capaldi's last episode with William Hartnell, where they made him into this misogynistic buffoon. You know, they tried to, but
They can do whatever they want, right?
oh
But
yeah, they can. Yeah,
But they can't do something like that.
I mean, there's this thing. Oh, you know, they talk about fan entitlement. You know, but yes, these creatives that write these shows, they can do whatever they like, right? But there still has to be a fundamental recognition of what it is at the core that makes a fan of a Doctor Who fan or a Star Trek fan. I've talked about this with one of the things that Gene Roddenberry. I mean, there's a lot of faults with Gene Roddenberry with Star Trek, but he went to a lot of fan conventions. Even Rick Berman, who ran it after he died, and that, you know, I mean, they both recognised what it was that the core, the big, massive fan base of Star Trek, what it was about Star Trek that made them a fan, what they liked about it that made them a fan.
I think they still do that. However, I think they get it from places like Twitter
Exactly.
and Facebook.
Yeah, which is not even remotely representative of what
The stuff I was reading earlier and last night on like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, those people can't be fans. The things they're saying, they can't be actual.
I mean, that is a very
long-term
controversial thing to say, and I'm sure there's
Yeah.
going to be, if anybody is watching this, who does come from that way of thinking, is going to hate.
I mean,
but
you can
it's
enjoy.
true.
You can enjoy the episode. I think you're wrong. I thought it was terrible, but you can enjoy the episode. You can enjoy things that are done. But if you are a long-term fan and you have been for a long time, it's extremely disrespectful to William Hartnell, and you should be at least a bit upset about that.
And there is one thing about fan entitlement that absolutely is true, that people are entitled to, right? And that is, any fan of anything is entitled to sometimes not like things.
Yeah.
And they are entitled to like things. So they're entitled to say when something is shit
Yeah.
or something is good. That is a fundamental human right.
Yeah, well, what I
have
said
an
before
opinion.
was a bit wrong. What I meant was...
No,
yeah.
but I get
yeah.
exactly where you're coming from. Yeah.
You need...
That is what where we're coming from.
Yeah. You need to respect the show. And that isn't respecting the show.
No.
Because who'd have thought, right? If you do things that fans like, they'll support you and follow you.
Yeah,
And then even if you mess up a bit, like Stephen Moffat did, you know, he fucked up a bit with Capaldi.
Yeah.
And then people were fans again after.
Yeah.
Because they were like, okay, we'll let it pass.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But not after, I don't know.
I mean, the proof is in the proof of the pudding is in the eating, as the saying goes. Because look at what happened with Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Everybody was watching that show, and then look where it went.
It's the most popular show in the world, and it,
you know,
yeah, the ending was awful.
if you don't give a shit about this property that you are effectively running and writing and all the rest of it, then
people won't give a shit
then
about
how
it.
can the fans give a shit?
Yeah.
You can't expect the fans to say, "Oh yeah, oh well, wrap it up." You know,
Yeah.
some people will, because they're, well, no, I'm not going to say it. They're entitled. They're entitled
They are,
to their to like or dislike something.
But
Doesn't mean they're right, but
that decision, I can't imagine a fan supporting that decision to just eradicate him as the first Doctor.
no, I can't. And again, that would be, I'm sure people will think that's a controversial thing, but a true fan
Yeah.
could not, in all good conscience,
Yeah.
think that was okay.
No. It's disrespectful to
There
William
would be
Hartnell,
this
isn't it?
niggly little voice inside their head that's saying, no, we've crossed a line here. That's
Yeah.
at least that much. They would at least
Yeah.
think that much, wouldn't they? I mean, we obviously think much worse than that. But,
Yeah.
if you've got anything about the way your brain works, and and being a fan, fundamentally about being a fan, not even about the way your brain works, because that sounds insulting. But just being a fan of something. If you respect something,
Yeah.
you can't, in all good conscience, sit back and say, well, that's okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Time is a valuable thing, and if you're going to sit down weekly to watch a TV show, say 10 to 13ish weeks a year, then you deserve to have your show respected, at least. And Chris General just shows that he doesn't care.
Yeah, and it's not even pandering to the fans. It's not even following what the fans they think this should be this and that should be that. It's not even about doing that. It's really got nothing to do with the fans as such. Although I do think it's very, very important that you do respect the fans.
See,
absolutely,
Sonic
crucial to
is an excellent example.
And a lot of people would think that is pandering to the fans, but it worked.
That's what you need. Big mistakes like this episode of Doctor Who, they need to listen to the fans and go, okay, something like the Master was lying and he's the whatever the episode's called, the timeless child or whatever. Something like that. Okay, it's going to be shit regardless, right? But yeah.
I just don't know where I am with it now. What I think about it. I'm not normally this sort of invested in these types of things. I'm usually quite sort of standoffish with a lot. I'm level-headed about things.
Yeah.
I don't tend to say. I'm certainly not somebody who goes into hero worship, because I understand that that's a very flawed social phenomenon and all that kind of thing. But like you say about the investment that you put into something, I think if that's going to be the case, you literally just have to find a cut-off point where you say, that was where it was okay, this is where it's not, and I don't want to know about that. That doesn't exist in my world as far as I'm concerned. Now it's just about documenting its demise and showing people what's going on. I'm certainly not watching this show now as a fan.
Definitely not.
I'm not watching this fan out of enjoyment. I'm not watching this show for something that's good. I'm not watching it because I look forward to it or any of those things. And that's a really, really sad state of affairs.
I've been a fan since I was 7.
Yeah.
I'm 20 now, and
for me a lot longer.
Yeah, you a lot longer. Yeah. But I'm not a fan anymore. And I know.
No, I am a fan of what Doctor Who. Then before this.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of this Doctor Who.
No. Yeah.
So I can still say I'm a fan of Doctor Who, but not this Doctor Who. And I'm not talking about the character. I'm talking about everything, the whole package.
Yeah.
The whole lot. The shit writing, these wackadoodle ideas about changing the art. How many fucking regenerations has she had? Thousands?
Don't know.
We'll
never know, probably.
How many actors are they going to rope in now? And let's have. It'll be like the Curse of the Fatal Death thing with Doctor Who thing, where there is like another one and another one and another one. It'll be like that.
They'll be showing it weekly now.
And I do think that we're going to any actor that they can get to come back, or they'll get an actor that looks like them to play the part, so they can come back and berate that male Doctor. I mean, a lot of YouTubers have talked about that happening as well. I do think that there's a very real possibility of that happening.
Yeah.
Because they're not done with this yet. This is just the thin end of a very big wedge. This is the beginning of something far more. I think I said that in my Fugitive the Judoon review as well. This is the calm before the storm, and this is a big storm on the horizon because,
I mean, okay, Star Wars, right? Rian Johnson pissed off a lot of people, but this has to have pissed off so many more, and so much more.
You would think that. I mean, certainly. Doctor Who's not really got much of. I don't think it's not being engaged with on YouTube. Certainly.
No, well, yeah,
it's not. The numbers aren't anything like what. But I get where you're coming from. As I think the problem with it is because it's so much of an institution of this country.
Yeah.
It's as English as fish and chips and all that kind of thing. It's that thing, and beyond that, it's also translated so well around the world, you know, and now it's just, as Ballstreet says, it's just a dumpster fire, you know. It is. It's absolutely the right term for it. It's just, there's nothing else you can really say about it.
It's just, there's so many plot holes in this episode. There's so many just contradictions. There's so many doctors now, apparently. You know, you thought William Hartnell was the first, like 10,000th maybe, you never know.
I can't, yeah, I know I'm probably sounding like a scratch record now, but I am very much stumped with this because I just don't know where it goes, what the implications are. I know they're not good.
No, definitely not good, no.
Yeah. Do we want to rate it?
-10. Zero. If you know, one and a half. The Master was entertaining for a bit. 1.5.
See, I kind of put the Adventures of Greta Thunberg, Orphan 55. I gave that a 1.
Yeah.
I did think at the time that was quite possibly the worst Doctor Who episode ever. I really did think it was the worst. And for a very brief period of time, I am going to review Can You Hear Me, by the way. There's a reason why I've delayed it, because it's kind of part of a larger argument about what's fundamentally wrong with the BBC and by extension Doctor Who. So I'm going to do that as a catch-up review after at some point soon after this video. But when I watched that, I'm spoiling that video actually by saying that I thought that would be a 1 as well. But then I looked at it and I thought it's not quite as bad as Orphan 55. It would probably be like a 1.1, you know, not almost, but not quite. What's wrong with this episode is wrong for all kinds of different reasons.
There are many reasons.
Yeah. Can I say it's worse than Orphan 55? I don't. I mean, I couldn't find anything really redeeming about Orphan 55 other than the initial premise that I thought, there's going to be a mystery here, and then it was gone in 5 minutes. I gave my 1 point to it for that. Is Sacha Dhawan's performance in this episode, which is for me is the only redeeming thing in it, is that more than the initial premise of the Orphan 55 episode? Yes. So in that regard, I've got to give it more than a 1.
Yeah.
But it would probably be like a 1.5.
See, now, mystery is another thing. Everything about the Doctor, you aren't meant to know.
No, absolutely no.
I was a bit, when you might have found out his name. And, you know, they realised you can't know the Doctor's name because... No. But now you know everything. I mean, obviously, you know...
Well, you still don't know a name, but...
But you know too much. It was just a big info dump.
I mean, it could be that this is all one big red herring. I don't think that's going to be the case. I really do think this is what it is.
Yeah.
And Chris Chibnall's pretty much already said that anyway. No, this is all legit. This is what it is.
Yeah.
We might be looking at something different further down the line, but
maybe they should just cut the Who out of the name now. Just Doctor, because the Who is answer a god, an unkillable god.
Yeah.
Sad that they don't.
It is sad
about established canon at all.
It is sad that they don't care about that. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about the legacy, the canon of the show. They don't care about viewing figures. They don't care about merchandise profits because it's not selling anything.
No. Got more chance of selling them than you.
Yeah. Don't forget, official Cyberlord merchandise available from this. Yeah, they don't care about any of it. They don't care if they, if it was a bonfire and they pissed on it to put it out. They wouldn't even do that because they just don't care. No.
There was one thing we were discussing just before we started recording this that I almost forgot to mention. The entire Clara story arc now is just, it doesn't make sense.
No.
They go into the Doctor's corpse grave thing. I don't know how that even happened.
I mean, you could argue that storyline never really made sense anyway. It was never resolved, was it? Because he jumped tracks to a different story for the 50th anniversary. But I get what you're saying, yeah. So, she travelled back and...
Somehow, the Doctor died.
You reminded me of something we'll come to in a
We
second.
don't know
about
how
TARDIS,
the
yeah.
Doctor dies because the Doctor is unkillable now. I guess maybe a million regenerations you run out. I don't know. So Clara goes in and saves the Doctor throughout his her entire life. But you only see the 12 Doctors. Well, 11 at the time. You don't see any more. So why is that?
And within that, she also says to the first Doctor, well, he's not the first Doctor anymore, but we'll say William Hartnell's Doctor, don't take that one, TARDIS, take this one instead. The navigation system's shot and all that, but you'll have a far more fun, right? And the Chameleon Circuit gets stuck as a police telephone box in 1960s on Earth and Runner, right? When we see Dr. Ruth, her TARDIS is a police telephone box. Where, therefore, does she fit in the continuity?
I suppose
She can't be before William Hartnell because that was when it was chosen that was going to be, unless it did, and they wiped her memory.
It could be
and
a new cycle after this one.
well, you mean
Later
she's
on.
a future TARDIS?
It could be future, and
Or-
they wiped
or-
her memory again.
Previous versions did have it as a police box, but then forgot that they had it a police box, and that's the reason
Or it could be after.
See, again, none of this is really.
You could sit here talking for hours
Yeah.
about plot holes
Yeah.
that this has created.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there are too many.
So with that, I will just say thank you very, very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed our rant and all the hilarity and all the rest of it. Yeah. And if you did like the video, click the like button for us, please. Very much appreciate that. Share the video about if you can. And if you do like the content of the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon for notifications. I've just been stunned by this. I really have. I mean, it's even just doing this bit now. I'm just
I was
strange feeling it is really to see how far it's fallen.
I was going to watch it again last night.
Oh,
I put it on, and a minute in, I'm like, you know, fuck this.
No, I don't.
I never want to see that
I
again.
probably will watch again at some point in the future, but
I wish you luck with that.
yeah. And with that, I'll just say thank you, and we will see you again in another video. I'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.
Take care.